Hi, third graders. It's Melissa from the Wadsworth Public Library, and I'm coming to you with a reading challenge. I am going to challenge you this year to read true. What does that mean? It means I want you to read nonfiction books. In third grade, most of you have taken that leap. You've become readers, and now you're using your reading abilities to learn new things. And so we want to put that to practice with reading nonfiction books. So what does nonfiction mean? It means that they're books about real people, about real things. They're true stories. And I want you to read 25 nonfiction books this school year. And not just any 25. I do have specific topics in mind. So what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to read 2 books about space, 2 books about animals, 2 books about inventions or inventors, 2 books about arts and music, 2 books about science, 2 books about poetry, 2 books about history, 2 about geography, so you can read about different places, 2 books about sports, 2 biographies, which are books about a person. It can be a biography or an autobiography, actually. And then the last 5 are your choice. So you can read any 5 nonfiction books, your choice. You'll have this Read True third grade challenge form to keep track of them. And these can be found on our website. You can go to wadsworthlibrary.com under our families page and find the links for Read True, where you can download the pamphlet and you can sign up for the challenge. You can also come to the library and you can find these in the children's department in the library. And then inside is where you're just going to keep track of the books that you've read. So if you read, as you read, when you read your 2 books about space, just write down the titles. When you've completed the challenge, bring your form back to the library and we'll reward you for all that good reading. We'll get you a certificate of completion you put on the fridge. And your own book to take home and keep forever. So just to help you out with some of those ideas, I have some of my favorite nonfiction books here to share with you all. I think you'll find them just as fun as I do. If you're reading about animals, you might want to read The Secret Life of the Red Fox. And what's really neat about this book is it almost reads like a storybook. It's The Secret Life of the Red Fox. But it reads kind of like a story, if you were going to read a picture book. But as you're reading, you're still learning all about the red fox. Towards the back of the book, there'd be more information so you can get a few more facts. And then also some glossaries so you can learn new words and more books about fox. So if you really liked learning about fox, you want to check out another book, you can do that. So this is The Secret Life of the Red Fox, and it's written by Lauren Springle, illustrated by Kate Karczynski. All right, your brain's a big deal, and the brain is kind of a big deal. Were you ever curious about how your brain worked? It's pretty fascinating, actually. And what's fun is this one is really very colorful, but it's full of great information, so you can learn all about how your brain works. So I want you to check this one out by Nick Sullick, and it's The Brain. It's kind of a big deal. All right, I told you I wanted you to read about space. Here's a really good one about space. This is Go for the Moon. It's A Rocket, a Boy, and the First Moon Landing. It's by Chris Gall. Now, this one talks all about the first man walk on the moon, but it's told through the perspective of a young boy. And as he's learning about this happening in real life for him, he's also sharing some of that knowledge with you. So, we get to learn a little bit about the thrust lifts on the rocket. And then, as you go through, you can see illustrations about the astronauts. We learn how the astronauts sleep in the space shuttle. And this is a really neat way to learn more about the first moon landing. So Go for the Moon by Chris Gall. Also excellent. Check that one out. This is Luna and Me, and this would be a true story about a girl who lived in a tree to save a forest. So here's a book about a specific person. Now this girl, and I believe her name was Butterfly, believe it or not, I think that was her nickname. Well, anyhow, Butterfly was learning all about how the forests were getting destroyed, and they were cutting down some of these beautiful redwood trees in California. But she didn't like that. So what did she do? She moved into the tree, lived in it for 2 years to save it. If you want to learn how she did that, read Luna and Me. It's by Jenny Sue Kostecki Shaw. Really neat story. And then last one is one called Mesmerized. So it is how Ben Franklin solved a mystery that baffled all of France. Did you ever hear the word mesmerized before? This book tells you where that word came from. So Ben Franklin was in France, and everyone was being they were baffled by this mystery. This scientist thought he could control people's minds. Well, his name was Dr. Mesmer. So I want you to, check this one out at the library, Mesmerized, and see how Ben Franklin discovered that he really wasn't controlling their minds. So, third graders, read true. Read some nonfiction, keep track. When you get to your 25 nonfiction, bring it back and get your prize. We look forward to seeing you here at the library.